Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Homesteader Mike here with Hills and Haulers Homesteading and Prepping. And a couple of things I want to cover today. Now, to go back on medications and first aid, emergency type preparation stuff. There's a couple things that I got here and I want to show you this. Let me flip the camera around here. All right, so this is colloidal silver gel. This would be the over-the-counter version of Silvadene. And if you're not familiar with what Silvadene is a cream that's got silver in it, real silver, that's used extensively for burn healing. And you can only get it by prescription. This we got on Amazon, and I got 2 of them, and this is pretty much the same thing. Colloidal silver has been used for a very long time to treat infections and stuff like that. As a matter of fact, if you look back at history, what they refer to as silverware, if you didn't know that silverware was made like that to help prevent the spread of infection and illness, because silver itself is a natural antibiotic. So it will prevent the growth of bacteria and stuff. So this is available on Amazon. This can be used on burns, abrasions, things like that, to help get them to heal and actually help prevent some of the infection. The other thing I got, and I never even really thought much about this because I always thought about just making it myself if we needed it, but activated charcoal powder. Now, activated charcoal is something that we use extensively in the medical field, if you're not familiar with it, to bind to poisons. And poisons could be anything from medication, like overdosing, not like drugs, particularly IV type stuff, but oral overdosing and stuff like that. So somebody does a suicide attempt and they take a bunch of Tylenol, or they take a bunch of ibuprofen, or a bunch of sleeping pills or anything like that, or they just ingest something that could be potentially poisonous to them. You give them activated charcoal, and that is exactly what this is. It is exactly what it is. It's activated charcoal. It's charcoal powder. So what this does is, when you take this, you would take, I think, about a teaspoon of this and mix it with a little water and drink it, and it would bind to whatever it is that you ingested. You can actually take a little bit more of it if you need to. It's got all the instructions on the back of it. Kind of tells you, it shows it as a supplement. This is activated charcoal powder from coconut shells. There's no other ingredients in it whatsoever. Serving size is 1 scoop, which is 1.5 grams. And you would probably, let's see what this says. Recommended use as a dietary supplement, which mix 1 scoop with 8 to 12 ounces of water as directed by your healthcare professional. You can use it as toothpaste, because it will help clean your teeth and everything. So this isn't something that would hurt you if you took a little bit more than what you needed. But this stuff would be fantastic for things like accidental ingestion of something that would, be potentially poisonous. And the kids are wound up today. That's why I'm back here in the bedroom with the door closed. And it's too damn cold for me to stand outside and do a video, so I'm just not dealing with the weather today. But you can get this, and this is where I got it at. Just look up the website right there, NutriCost. And I think this was less than $20, and definitely worth it. And it's a full pound. So unflavored, yeah, it's there's nothing pleasant about this, because it's charcoal. So there's nothing pleasant about it, but this is a 1 pound container. That is plenty to get you through. You can use this not only for accidental ingestion of poisons and stuff like that. They've used activated charcoal for a very long time to help treat nausea, vomiting type of stuff. You get the dreaded stomach virus that goes around every year. People refer to as the stomach flu. And I've never tried this, but I can guarantee you, if I ever get it again, like I did this past year, because I have 2 children, and they tend to bring home death with them every couple months. And I will definitely try this again. Try this if I get that again, because anything to get past that and that nastiness of that. This can also be used as, in part, as a water filtration system too. You could use this to help filter water out through some gravel, some sand, some charcoal, some vegetation. and then this as well mixed in there to help filter water. Now, that is part of the preparedness that I wanted to talk about today. And what really spurred this a lot was, and by the way, I'll put links to this in the description of the video, to both of these to show you where I got them at and everything. I don't like to buy from Amazon, particularly, as much as I only buy from Amazon if I have to. If I can find the seller on there or the company, I'll actually tend to go to the company's website and buy it off of there if I can, especially if they do continue to offer free shipping. But you can tend to actually get a better price from the company's website because Amazon's got its markup to kind of help cover the shipping costs and their percentage of the share of everything. So I prefer to go to the company's website. So Amazon can actually be a good reference point to start from there to figure out who's got it and where to get it from. So, so I was reading over some of the social media stuff that they created, a new profile that I recently did, Homesteader Mike, because commies took me down on my traditional name. I rejoined an old group that I'd completely forgot about, and I had left for one reason or the other. I don't even remember. And I got on there today, and it's one of the prepping SHTF type, sites. The amount of people that really honestly they don't even know where to start with this kind of stuff. And I'm not picking on those people or making fun of them by any stretch of the imagination, but the amount of people, and I mean, it's like scroll after scroll after scroll after scroll. How do I do this? How do I do that? Can I just store stuff in Ziploc baggies and put them in a bucket? Can I do this? Can I do that? I have X amount of acreage with a stream in the front and springs on the back, and everybody around me are farmers and they do this and they do that. Should I do this? Should I do that? Where should I start? And I'm sitting there going, you pretty much with, having all of that available to you, you have the resources right there. And the terrible part of that is they have no idea how to even deal with it, how to get started, how to even begin to prepare and try to become, more self-sufficient, self-reliant type. So, that's the mindset that we're looking at with a lot of people is that they have no idea. They just don't. They don't have the mindset to be prepared, to even become remotely familiar with prepping or emergency preparedness, however you want to look at it. But because there is kind of a stigma with prepping that some people still hold. And those are just people that just don't know. They just don't understand. But a lot of, you would think you would see this more from suburban, urban type stuff, but there's a lot of rural folks who don't do this anymore. I mean, honest to goodness, where I live right here, I mean, you guys have seen on previous videos, this is the terrain around me. I mean, I'm not out in the middle of nowhere. They're not pumping, sunshine into me. I'm 8 miles from the interstate in either direction, but there's a Starbucks 8.5 miles away from me. And I mean, there is constantly a line wrapped around that building. And that doesn't make anybody less prepared or anything like that, but that just kind of highlights the convenience that our society has become accustomed to, the ease and the convenience of just pulling up and telling somebody what they want or typing on their phone what they want, having it delivered right to them. And these are the kind of things that have just really, really turned people into the society that we see today. They're just, if something happens, if their normal day is interrupted, these people can't function. And these are the people who are going to come to people like us. These are the people who are going to become dangerous because they're going to overwhelm people who have preparedness and preps in place. They're going to come looking, if something terrible should happen. And these are the people we're going to have to defend ourselves against. And my kids, I swear to God, I think somebody gave them some crack today. They're crazy. Jeez, oh whiz. Oh, my goodness. Weather's got them cooped up in the house, and they're just... So if you do hear screaming and yelling, thumping and banging, it's, kids. But, that's... falling back again on, whatever we prepare for, whatever the event that happens that we have to face, people are always going to be our biggest danger because... people get desperate. They're going to do some crazy things. And, they're going to go to where they think there's things that they need, and they're going to do what they have to do to get what they think that they need, especially when it comes to food. So I just still, and I don't want to say surprised. I'm not surprised by it. It just continues to blow my mind that people don't see what's going on around them. They don't see they don't see the writing on the wall, so to speak, and they don't see that there's significant troubles ahead of us. I mean, what we're already facing right now, and what we're already dealing with the inflation, the high gas prices, and stuff. On top of all of that, food shortages are coming. I mean, they're here in some places now, but again, the wheat berries, like I talked about in the video the other morning, where I got them before for $33 delivered, 25 pounds, they're not available now, and now shipping is up to $60 in some places. And I mean, I paid almost double for the same product just in the month and a half, 2 months that it has been since I ordered them before. So I don't know what else to do. That's why I always encourage and ask viewers to share this information with people, share the video, share the information. Some people you're just not going to convince. You're just not going to convince a lot of people. They're just, no, because they've never faced hard times, or their struggles have never been such that they are, they don't understand what food shortages and stuff like that truly are. And, when your Starbucks coffee costs you 8, 10, 12 bucks in the morning, and your little breakfast bites with it, or whatever it is that they sell there, and then your delivery lunch at work, and then your pickup takeout on the way home for supper, when that starts significantly cutting into your budgets and everything, that's when I think people are going to recognize that. I mean, my wife's car has never taken more than, let's say, $40 to fill up. We stopped this morning, filled up, and I think we were at $50. So it's $10 more minimum, $10 more. And I mean, we were like quarter of a tank. We weren't even down to an eighth of a tank yet. So at a quarter of a tank, it cost it. It's a Nissan Rogue. It cost us $50 to fill that thing up from a quarter tank, and it's never cost that much to fill that thing up. Even empty, it's never cost that thing that much to fill up. So, and that's another reason why my truck is parked. So my truck, it's a diesel, so it's parked. I mean, we're looking at $120, $130 to fill that thing up right now. I filled it up a few weeks ago at $120, and diesels went up since then. So there's no doubt in my mind it would be easily $130, maybe even more, to fill it up now. So it's parked. I'm running the Jeep in its place, and our travels tend to be mostly just to school and back from school, taking the kids and stuff like that. Since our jobs are remote, we are able to work from home, and then our normal running of errands and stuff. But please, guys, I know a lot of you, if you watch this, are in the mindset, or you're just sitting there making fun of people who are. Personally, I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I'm going to make sure that me and mine are taken care of. That's the big thing. But in the meantime, if I can share this information with people, if I can try to help convince people to understand the impact that we're facing, and, I'm going to say again, within 6 months, if it's not significantly much more difficult, if prices are not significantly much more higher than they are from today, what's today, the 26th, I think, so 26th of March, if they're not significantly higher, if inflation doesn't hit 15%, I mean, I'll be completely amazed, and I'll just sit here and tell you that I was completely wrong, and now I have a bunch of food to eat off of and don't have to go to the grocery store for a while. But if I'm right, in that time period, we're going to probably be living off of, at least partially living off of, our food stores, or even more than what we normally do, because we try to keep a rotating stock going. We layer our preps by long-term storage, and up to 2 years, this type of stuff, 2 to 3 years, and we'll eat that and replace that and replenish that as we go along. So, you have to work at it. You have to look at things from a perspective of what could be, what could be our biggest draw, what's going to be, what are our most needs going to be in the next however long, and then, work at it from there. But, honestly, food, shelter, water, those are your three main things. And you can start adding in heat and all this other stuff later on. But food, shelter, water are your big things. We've got shelter. Let's work more for food, and let's work more for water storage and stuff, because we have filtration abilities. But I'd much also like to have food storage or water storage abilities as well, and something that's going to be reasonable but also be significant enough for what we would use. My next thing of that is while I continue to work with the homestead stuff to be able to produce as much as we can here, that's an ongoing thing. But also in the future, I want to look at alternative energy, like even like a solar generator, or even put the components separately and building my own solar generator setup, to where I can at least keep my refrigerators and freezers running for the most part if things get bad. I mean, we can deal with heat without electricity, but and we have a wood stove to offset the cold if it happens through the winter. But there's a lot of things that we need to take into consideration. But food, shelter, water are three big things. And then once those are secured, I'm going to continue to pad with the food. I'm going to continue to work with the water. The shelter is here. We'll maintain it. And then the next thing, like I said, is as we build our homestead and build our food producing abilities, is also working towards being able to produce renewable energy for us as we need it as well. So please, again, let's share this information. This isn't going to be the best stuff. I'm sitting in my bedroom on a cold day with a cell phone making videos here. This is what you're going to get from me, cell phone videos, because I'm not spending money on a bunch of cameras and video equipment. I have a simple message here, and it is to prepare. Make sure that you and your family are prepared, have food and water stored, have the ability, at least take the option and take the chance of growing some of your own food to help offset food costs. And I think if you ever start that and do that, when you start to eat the food that you've grown, that from the dirt from under your fingernails, and the sore back from being bent over, and just a little bit of toiling in the soil, it's a huge satisfaction. And I think people would really just fall in love with that kind of stuff. Not all, but a lot would. So always increasing self-sufficiency, self-reliance, and starve the system. That's my message. Starve the system. The more we can produce at home, the more that we can produce on our own and consume from what we produce at home, the less we're going to be dependent on the global food system. And as that impact is felt throughout the global corporate community of that, then you would see a big difference in prices, a big difference in demand and everything. I also shared an article today on the Facebook page for Hills and Hollers Homesteading and Prepping about how farmers are potentially going back to more regenerative practices, or adopting regenerative practices, with the more difficult that it is to get fertilizer, and with the rising fertilizer costs. And that's a win situation all the way across the board, because that in the long term will help them save money. It will give us better, more highly nutritious food, and a safer food for us, because they're not using all those chemicals and stuff to grow the food with. So regenerative agriculture is definitely the way to go. Again, always buy local. Produce as much as you can at your own home. Container gardening, square foot gardening, raised bed gardening, whatever you have the capability of doing. You may not even realize it. Just get on there and start looking at some videos and stuff on YouTube, reading up on articles about regenerative square foot gardening, raised bed gardening, things like that, container gardening, and you will realize how much you can actually do for yourself and your family right there in your front yard. But that's going to be it. Please, folks, if you like this kind of content, others who are like-minded, share this channel with them. Leave us a like on the YouTube channel. My dogs are now involved in the mess with the kids. So give us a like, leave us a comment, tell us what's going on in your holla. Folks, please continue. Make your efforts to starve the system. Take care. God bless, and keep prepping.